won easily. I mean, anybody who says that Ted Cruz went in and won those delegates in Colorado because he knew the rules and he had the ground game and all that, come on. Donald Trump could have gone in there with an army of organizers. Okay, he could have spent millions there, and it would have been the same outcome. It was predetermined.
Yeah,
this was an inside deal. Okay, and here are two reasons why Colorado, although Cruz won some delegates, it's really becoming his Waterloo.
Right. Because
on the one hand, it showed that he does not care about disenfranchising the American voters so long as he wins. On the other hand, he officially and forever lost his outsider status. He is 100% GOP establishment now.
Yeah.
And that's why his polls numbers are collapsing.
Yeah, you listen to the Silent Majority here. I'm your host, Chris, and on the Rebooting Liberty Hotline, I have my co-host, Kachalia, and my guest, Mr. Bill Mitchell. Bill,
Yes,
let's backtrack a little bit here. The reason why they changed the votes, they changed, the 24 members of the establishment over there. They changed. They didn't want to have a primary. They voted to not have a primary, was because they didn't want to have. I think there was a recent rule change where the winner of that state would have their the delegates bounds, and
right.
At that time they knew Donald Trump was surging. He just came out, and they wanted to prevent that. How is that possible that 24 members of an establishment like that, 24 members get to decide that? I mean, I understand. I hear it on Twitter all the time. Well, those are the rules. Those are the rules. But again, if the rules are stacked against a particular opponent, I mean, here you had in August, you had the Colorado Republican chair, I think his name is Steve, and he was caught on audio saying that, he's going to stop, they're going to stomp the nominee, that Donald Trump's never going to be the nominee, and that he's really looking forward to Carly Fiorina taking him out on stage.
Yeah.
And again, all this is planned. If none of this was out there and you changed the rules, I would have been like, okay, that's fine, But how do you prevent? And again, whose fault is it? Is it the Republican, the people of Colorado for not standing up and saying this is not going to take place? How can you make these rules, or were they just powerless to do so?
Most people, what they're counting on the fact is the general public is ignorant of all these things. Nothing against the general public, but they're watching, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. They're not paying attention to the minutia of Senate rules and regulations. Right. I guarantee you, most Coloradans, when it came time to vote, were really surprised they weren't going to get to vote. Yeah. And they're like, well, they should have known. It's come on. People don't follow this stuff. Okay. Yeah. And, in these political parties, you can make any rule that you want to make. I mean, they could come up with the craziest thing you could ever imagine and call it a rule.
Right.
But if it's not fair, if it disenfranchises the voters, it will not survive.
Right.
And that's, what these guys are doing. These guys are so arrogant and so sure they're right, and have so little regard for the American voter and what the man on the street thinks, that they think they can do anything they want without repercussions. And Donald Trump is repercussions.
Right.
These guys earned Donald Trump.
Yeah. Actually, he made a statement about that. Actually, where it is right here. He says, no one forced anyone to cancel the vote in Colorado. Political insiders made the choice to cancel it, and it was the wrong choice. Responsible leaders should be shocked by the idea that a party official can simply cancel elections. In America, they don't like what the voters may decide. When they don't like when the voters may decide. Mr. Cruz has toured the country bragging about his voterless victory in Colorado. For a man who styles himself as a warrior against the establishment, you would think he would be demanding a vote for the Coloradians. Instead, Mr. Cruz is celebrating their disenfranchisement, as you stated. But anyway, let's go forward. And the next clip I'm going to play, I'm going to go back to the Democratic side. It's actually Debbie Wasserman Schultz describing the super delegate process. I'm going to play that right now.
Hillary Clinton lost to Bernie Sanders in New Hampshire by 22 percentage points, the biggest victory in a contested Democratic primary there since John F. Kennedy. But it looks as though Clinton and Sanders are leaving the granite state with the same number of delegates in their pockets because Clinton has the support of New Hampshire's superdelegates, these party insiders. What do you tell voters who are new to the process who says this makes them feel like it's all rigged?
Unpledged delegates exist really to make sure that party leaders and elected officials don't have to be in a position where they are running against grassroots activists. We are, as a Democratic Party, really highlight and emphasize inclusiveness and diversity at our convention, and so we want to give every opportunity to grassroots activists and diverse, committed Democrats to be able to participate, attend, and be a delegate at the convention. And so we separate out those unpledged delegates to make sure that there isn't competition between them.
I'm not sure that answer would satisfy an anxious young voter, but let's move on.
Well, the reason it's done is because we want Hillary to be president. Katja Lee, that was my best Wasserman Schultz impression. Katja Lee, my co-host. What do you think about my impression? And secondly, what do you think about what you had to say? Basically, just telling the people, hey, this is the way. It's sort of what Rance Pubis said when I imitated him earlier, when my impression, whatever. But sort of what he said. Hey, that's the way it is. That's the way it's done. That's the way it's been done for years and whatever. What do you say about that, Katja Lee?
First of all, your impression was incredible.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And so that's for my friend Kathy out there. She just loves it when I do that. It just really cracks her up. Yeah, the fix is in on the Democratic side, too. This is the irony of this, is that what is happening is that this is going on the Democrat side and the Republican side because they're a uniparty, guys. Mm-hmm. I mean, I really believe that. Like, there's some nuances between them, but in general, they are covering from each other. They have built this machine where this one scratches this back, the good old boy system, whatever you want to call it. I call it the crooked system. And they have their hierarchy, the Bush family, the Clinton family. Now you have the Obamas, and they all help each other out. And it totally disenfranchises the American people. We're the ones that are the innovators. We're the ones that are creating things. Whether you're a Bernie Sanders supporter or a Trump supporter or anybody else's supporter, we're the people that are doing the work. Right. We are the ones out here every single day taking care of our families, providing health care to people, being in the service industry, all the thousands of things that we do on a daily basis, being on Twitter, having this radio show, communicating. And these folks are over there just laughing at us. People are disgusted. This whole super delegate scam, Bernie Sanders is winning these states, and Hillary walks away with, twice as many delegates as him.
It's ridiculous.
It's obscene. It's a complete scam. It's rigged. They're screwing these people over, and they don't care. And Mitch is exactly right. Their arrogance is what's going to do them in.
Yeah.
Because they think they're better than you.
Yeah.
They think they're better than me. They think they're better than everybody.
Yeah, and isn't it amazing when Bernie does win more delegates than Hillary Clinton does win? The media downplays it like, well, Hillary's going to be the nominee anyway, so it really doesn't matter. Like, they downplay it because the fix is in. And I say to myself, I don't care, guys. And this is I get into debates on Twitter all the time. I don't care if those are the rules. It's time to stand up and say enough with these rules. The bottom line is this. If you're going to cut primaries like in Colorado and Wyoming, if you're going to cut off, the electoral process, I say do them in a legit way. But all the news coming out of the states was that a lot of Trump delegates were getting scammed. Even whether it was their name wasn't on the ballots or they weren't allowed into the convention centers because they didn't have the proper IDs or whatever the case may be. Identification. Mm-hmm. I just don't get it. I don't. Mm-hmm. Okay, if you're gonna do it, but do it in a legit way. But as you can see, every news coming out of the states is that the Trump delegates were bamboozled. What do you have to say about that, Bill?
Well, sometimes people forget where the whole outsider movement came from and why we're even having an outsider movement. I mean, in 2012, we nominated a big establishment guy, right? Romney. So what's happened in 4 years? Well, we gave the Republicans the House, and we thought, boy, now they've taken the House, now things are really going to change, and nothing changed. And they kept saying, well, it's because we don't have the Senate. If we just had the Senate, then we could really fight Obama. And we said, okay, we went out there and we gave them the Senate, and huge turnout, gave them the Senate. Guess what? It got worse. They rubber stamped everything that came Obama's way. We had Paul Ryan, take that huge, disastrous omnibus bill and I don't think anybody even read the damn thing and passed that. So this is when America said, enough is enough. You are not listening to us. And the amazing thing
because that's Nancy Pelosi.
This is what created Donald Trump. This is the phenomena that opened the door for Donald Trump as an outsider to come in. And every time they do something like they've done in Colorado and Wyoming and these various places, stealing these delegates and backroom dealings, they just remind the American voter, just in case we might have lost focus, exactly why we want Trump. I mean, they might give a couple delegates here and there to Cruz, It's like, I liken it to Donald Trump is like this Brinks truck, and a couple rolls of quarters fell off the back of the truck, and Cruz people are diving on the ground trying to pick up the quarters while Trump drives off in the truck. Yeah,
exactly. You listen to The Silent Majority here. I'm your host, Chris, and on the Rebooting Liberty Hotline, I have my co-host, Katja Lee, and I have my guest, Bill Mitchell. Bill Mitchell, I want to go on, and I want to play. I know this is an older clip, but it's Curly. It's the Republican National Committee member, Curly Hoagland, I want to say. This is him describing that we, the American people, do not select the nominee.
But Curly, let me ask you, if Donald Trump heads into the nomination, maybe he's short of the 1237 required, if you give it to someone who has a much lesser percentage of the voters who have actually turned out from these primaries, don't you worry that you are going to just send chaos and anger into the Trump supporters and to the people who feel like their votes don't matter?
No, I don't think that's the case. If it would just be understood, we have a problem with the media. Unfortunately, the cable networks are trying to determine.
I don't think this is a problem with the media. I've heard from a lot of voters who say if they feel like their votes got stolen, that they would be very unhappy and very angry. I think you're looking at a different situation. I realize these have been the rules, but the last time these rules were put in place was 1976. It's been a long time since then.
Yeah, they're still there. Yeah, that's the problem. The media has created the perception that the voters will decide the nomination, and that's the conflict here.
We feel like we live in a democratic society. What you're telling me is it's not a democratic society, and your votes don't necessarily matter because it's a democratic representation, correct?
No, that's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that we're just one of the political parties. There's many political parties, but political parties choose their nominee, not the general public. Contrary to popular belief.
Then why not holding the primaries?
That's a very good question.
Look, Gary,
unbelievable, right? The illusion that the American people have a vote. It's amazing, right?
That guy, I've been a headhunter for 30 years. Okay. I work on the phone all the time. I'm really good at reading people's voices, that guy is an arrogant ass. Okay. I'm just telling you, that is a very arrogant man, and first of all, I can't ever trust anybody a full grown man that goes by the name Curly, but that is a very arrogant person. And that he is the embodiment of what the GOP establishment stands for right now. But you know what? I think the GOP establishment is not the entire, there are people in the GOP establishment that aren't like these people that are raising all the hell here. I think there is a small group of people that are rattling their sabers and waving their arms and making all the noise here, how we're going to have a contested convention and we don't give a damn what any voter says. We're going to pick who we want and the hell with all of you.
Yep.
That is a very small, very noisy minority of people. Yeah. And I think when it comes time for the actual convention, Trump is probably going to have enough delegates anyway, so it won't matter. But when it comes time for the convention, I think that saner voices will arise because, I mean, you just can't burn the party down to keep from burning the party down. You know, they say, well, we have to block Trump because Trump will destroy the party. Well, how are you going to block Trump? Well, we're going to destroy the party.
Mm-hmm. Well,
you know,
it's almost like what George Carlin said. Ready? I'm going to play this clip.
Reason.